Hi guys, Darren here, bringing you another video by Airless Discounter. Today I want to go through the Graco spray tip range and give you some examples of applications that you can use it with, and also the types of spray tip numbers that you're going to be working with. So first off, we have the standard spray tip from Graco. It's the Rack X and it's a blue spray tip. If you have some of the older standard spray tips, then you'd be familiar with the black spray tip. So this is the older model, this is the newer version. And then with the standard spray tips, you would, if you want to be working with thicker, higher viscosity materials, thicker materials, the brown spray tip has a slightly wider borehole size as well. The next spray tips that we'll be looking at is the low pressure tips from Graco. You'll identify them by the green color code. Now you do have a fine finish option within the low pressure spray tip range, and that is denoted by the FF on the spray tip. So be sure, if you're looking for a fine finish spray tip from Graco, that you don't just grab the green one off the shelf. Make sure you do check for the FF abbreviation on the spray tip itself. The next is if you're working with extremely high pressures, Graco has the XHD spray tip, which is the gray tip. I think it works up to 5,000 psi, so it's a lot more heavy duty. And then a specialized spray tip for road markings, for spraying lines, spraying the lines in a warehouse, sports fields. You've got the Graco line laser, which is denoted by a yellow color coding. Now, with your yellow line laser and with your older black Rack 5 spray tip, you would be using the older Rack 5 orange-red spray guard. With your heavy duty, which is in gray, you would be using the gray spray guard. And then with all your latest Graco spray tips, you would be using the blue spray guard, so that would be for your green, brown and blue spray tips from Graco, so that would be with your blue spray guard. When you're spraying interior or exterior walls, you'll probably be working with one of these spray tips, and probably working with maybe a 515 tip, 517 tip, 519 tip, 615, 617, 619. This will give you an adequate spray fan width just to cover the wall nicely without going too wide. Some painters might prefer working with a slightly narrower spray fan when they're working outside if it's quite windy. Sometimes if you're working inside, you're quite confident everything's been covered properly and you can use a wider spray fan. This is something we just want to play around a little bit. This is something that you will need to experiment a bit with yourself, depending on the material you're using or the spraying pressure. You may want to choose a spray tip slightly, like one increment down or one increment above. The next is if you are working with low pressures, so spraying at around between 800 to 1100 psi, which is about 55 to 76 bar. You'll be working with the Graco low pressure tips. And this is more for your woodwork, carpentry. You're spraying stains, your lacquers. And for that, you'll probably be working with a 210 spray tip or a 310 spray tip. If you're working with very narrow trim or perhaps wooden railings on a staircase, you might want to opt for a 108 spray tip. And if you're perhaps working on a larger construction, something like trying to spray 100 doors and you've got them all lined up, you might want to, instead of using a 310 spray tip, bump it up to like a 510 spray tip. So with all your wood carpentry, if you're spraying cabinets, for example, you can or use like a 210 or a 310 spray tip, and that's in the low pressure range. Also, you can be choosing some of the wider, maybe if you're spraying plaster or if you're spraying thicker latex paints, you'll be using the brown spray tip. Maybe with new construction, you'll probably be wanting to choose a tip size that's like a 1221, 1223, something where it's a very wide fan and you're getting a lot of material on and you don't have to control it as much. And yeah, I think that should help you out to get started. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments or questions about the Graco Airless spray tip range, please leave them below. And if you like this video, smash the like button. My name is Darren. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day and have a great spray.